human factor is the common denominator of every runway incursion, the end of code. Page 2, runway safety blueprint, FAA. There are two keywords over here. The common denominator of every runway incursion, and the second keyword is every runway incursion.
Air traffic controllers are responsible for 64 million domestic tower operations annually. 64 million. This is just one of them. And while the United States boasts the safest transportation system in the world, our goal is to raise the bar. Our mission is to make it safer. Advanced technology helps, but the real difference still comes down to people, pilots and controllers.
So in a world of increased traffic and rapidly advancing technology, what can pilots and controllers do to work more closely, communicate more efficiently, and make the system safer?
Whether you ask the top veteran controllers or the most experienced pilots, the answer is always the same: education. From studying flight safety publications and websites to signing up for classroom instruction to learn new procedures and technology, continuing education is the ultimate key to safety.
Today, by special invitation from the FAA, we're going to experience a behind-the-scenes look at air traffic control.
Explore how pilots and controllers can work together more efficiently and effectively, and examine real-world consequences when breakdowns in communication and lapses in situational awareness occur.
Ontario Tower, Decathlon 161 Sierra Alpha, 7 Southwest with Tango, request landing.
Decathlon 161 Sierra Alpha, Ontario Tower, enter left downwind for runway 26 left.
For pilots, the tower is an icon,
Decathlon 161 Sierra
the most
Alpha,
visible
left
symbol of
downwind
air
for
traffic
26
control. For controllers, this is the focal point of local airspace, where the highest concentration of aircraft must be monitored and managed around the clock.
Ontario Tower, Decathlon 161 Sierra Alpha, over the ball fields.
Decathlon 161 Sierra Alpha, runway 26 left, clear to land. Decathlon 1 Sierra Alpha, contact ground control on 121.9er.
219, 1 Sierra Alpha. Ontario ground, Decathlon 1 Sierra Alpha at Romeo, request taxi to the GA ramp.
Decathlon 1 Sierra Alpha, taxi to General Aviation via November, Uniform, Sierra, hold short runway 26 right at Uniform.
Decathlon 1 Sierra Alpha, taxi via November, Uniform, Sierra, hold short runway 26 right at Uniform.
Decathlon 1 Sierra Alpha, read back correct.
Ontario Southwest 793, 5 mile final, 26 right.
Southwest 793, runway 26 right, clear to land.
You are cleared to land.
Clear to land, 400.
As pilots navigating congested ground and airspace like this, situational awareness and proper phraseology are critical to the safety of dozens of aircraft vying for the same ground and airspace. For controllers, clear, concise communication and maximum awareness are essential to managing heavy traffic, a challenge that is complicated by aircraft with differing rates of speed and performance.
You've got a lot of airplanes taxiing out. Okay, Beverly, he isn't stopping. Okay, he's on the runway. He's taxiing on the runway. Whoa.
The most critical times of flight are takeoff and landing. When things happen en route, they're not as critical. So when they're most critical is time compressed areas which are right on any vertical phase of flight.
Okay, guys, I'm going to freeze you. That was well done. How was that scenario?
What are you using such a little airplane for on the runway? Huh?
Well, I could have used a larger one, but I figured you probably could see it a lot better.
Southwest does do the same scenario when we train. We have go-rounds because a truck is on the runway or because they have traffic on the runway, and that is called by the simulator instructor, and we do that every 6 months. Every pilot does that every 6 months.
Wow, thanks for bringing me up to the tower.
Oh, my pleasure.
Air traffic control demands split-second timing and multitasking skills far beyond any other profession. The bottom line is not about profit and loss. The bottom line is life and death. What can pilots and controllers do in terminal operations to make things less stressful, more efficient, safer?
That's easy. Education. They can educate themselves and other people. Controllers should never stop learning. Pilots should never stop learning. Whether I'm working in a control tower or flying an airplane, it is important that I never treat the same situation as though it was fixed. Everything always changes. You need to educate yourself. If you keep learning about what it is that you do and what other people do, you'll be far better off.
Dr. Najim Muscati at the University of Southern California is one of the foremost authorities on human factors and aviation safety.
The major or biggest contributor to aviation safety is knowledge. Knowledge about human factors, the knowledge about human performance, the knowledge about fatigue, the knowledge about psychological factors in signal detection or noise and that. The only way that you can gain this knowledge is by educating yourself continuously. Where does this knowledge come from? Part of this knowledge is the technical knowledge, the expertise of flying aircraft, being able to read the chart, knowing your IFR, instrument landing, and that. The other important component of the knowledge is the knowledge that you will gain by knowing the whole system.
The system, quite simply, is the tightly choreographed dance that transpires between pilots and controllers. And the system works. Most of the time, it works incredibly well. But we do experience lapses in awareness. There remain flaws in operations and breakdowns in communication. One such incident, Boston Logan International Airport, 9 June 2005, involving Aer Lingus on runway 15 right and U.S. Air on runway 9.
Channel 132 heavy, Boston runway 15 right, positional, caution, right turns, heavy, Airbus departing traffic will cross and arrive downfield.
6 runway 15 right, Channel 132 heavy.
Air France 322 heavy, Boston Tower, give way to the jet on the other side, cross 15 right, and then kind of ground point 9er.
So we are...
Phone 4973, turn left heading 010, runway 4 left, clear for takeoff.
010, clear for takeoff, 4 left.
Air France 322 heavy, cross 15 right, and then contact ground point 9er.
That's ground point 9, and you are clear to cross.
US Air 1170, runway 9er, position at home.
No, US Air 1170.
Delta 1929, hard right turn via 22 left, immediate right on Papa.
Hard right turn, 22 left, right turn, Papa, Delta 1929. Yeah, American 1752, the ILS 4 left.
1752 Boston Tower, 4 right, clear to land, caution, right turn runs arriving DC-10 heavy, wind 080 at 4.
Good land,
Delta 1929, on Papa, hold short of Echo, you can shut down there.
Hold short of Echo, we can shut down, Delta 1929.
Delta 1929, my coordinator indicates that there may, and I emphasize may, because I've been yelled at many, many times today, be a release for LaGuardia. I don't want to get your hopes up, but just stay with me and we'll see what's going on.
We can do that, sir. We'll keep our fingers crossed.
Observe release 15 right, Shamrock heavy.
Just to let you know, Sierra 132 Heavy, I have that one crossing, and I have one arrival to the crossing runway. It will be American 757. You'll see him shortly. Be ready.
Ready, Sierra 132 Heavy.
Sierra 132 Heavy, start bringing your power up traffic. Actually, it's only on 3 mile final for the crossing runway, wind 080 at 4. Runway 15 right, clear for takeoff.
Takeoff 132 Heavy. US 1170, runway 9er, clear for takeoff, traffic 2 out for the crossing. Clear for takeoff, US 1170, runway. 1497, Boston Tower, runway 9er, position at home. No, American 1497. American 1752, turn left at Romeo, hold short of 4 left. Left at Romeo, hold short of 4 left, American 1752. Delta 1929, you're good to go. Move up to and short of 4 right on Echo. Hold short of 4 right on Echo, Delta 1929, thank you. Right, 1497, 9er position at home. No, American 1497. American 1752, monitor 128.8, short of 4 left. American 1752, switching. Whoa, whoa, whoa. That was close.
In this type of runway incursion, we are talking about 3 casts of characters. Air traffic controller, aircraft A, aircraft B. Very simple. When you look at these 3 casts of characters that they come to play on runway, it's really like a ballet, it's like a choreography. These guys, they need to communicate with each other, they need to be able to understand each other, use their equipment, and be able to run the aircraft safely or take off safely. What is the common denominator over there? Cast of character A, B, and C. The common denominator is the human element or organizational factors.
Human factors is an important piece of aviation safety because the human is a factor in a complex system of other humans, computers, and so each one contributes to the situation.
We're still humans driving machines, so as long as humans are driving the machines, we have to think about the human side of it.
It's a high-consequence environment. There's a lot of duty of care issues. You have to be on top of your game all the time.
There is a problem of exhaustion, there is a problem of fatigue.
Human factors can range from poor nutrition, task saturation, fatigue, to dehydration and exhaustion. The list goes on. However, there's one human factor that appears over and over: complacency.
So in your 24 years as a controller, what's the most challenging air traffic you've had to deal with?
To tell you about that, I've got to tell you that there are 4 parts to the way traffic works. One would be very easy. There would be no or one airplane. It's very difficult to have something go wrong if there's only one airplane. That's one. The next one would be where it's very busy. If it's busy but still within your capabilities, it becomes a thing of beauty. The airplanes are moving around, the words are coming out correctly, everything is good. You're stressed but not overstressed.
Right.
The next would be when they add a few more things, a few more tasks for the controller to do. When it's very busy, at that point you run the risk of making an error, of forgetting to do something. But the real scary scenario is where it's just a little bit busy. You just have a few airplanes and you think you know what's going on, so you relax. That complacency is what'll kill you.
Chicago O'Hare International Airport, 23 July 2006. The following operational error is a runway incursion involving Giant 6972, cleared to land on 14 right, and United 1015, cleared for takeoff on 27 left, intersecting runways.
Hello, Tower, Giant 6972 Heavy, 9 DME, let's 14 right.
Giant 6972 Heavy Air Tower, runway 14 right, clear to land, 1608, traffic will depart ahead of your arrival.
Clear to land, runway 14 right, Giant 6972.
United 647, turn left, contact ground point 90.
Point 9, 647,
United 938 Heavy, runway 14 right, clear for takeoff, turn left heading 040.
Clear to takeoff, 14 right, left turn 040, United 938 Heavy.
United 1015, traffic lands to Parks Crossing runway, runway 27 left, position and hold.
Need about 2 minutes, United 1015. If you get the latest in position, that's fine.
United 1015, let me know when you're ready. Hold in position on runway 27 left.
Position hold runway 27 left, and we'll let you know when we're ready, United 1015.
It can be very easy to become distracted and lose track of time when you're on a runway and not ready to go. But not everything is sitting still. Giant 6972 has been covering about 3 miles a minute on approach. The controller is facing a myriad of distractions. And United 1015 is exposed on an active runway while focused inward on final preparations for takeoff.
United 1015, we're ready on 27 left.
United 1015, thank you. Fly runway heading, runway 27 left, clear for takeoff, wind 150 at 7.
Runway heading clear for takeoff, 7 left, United 1015.
Three different realities, 2 short minutes, and one very real opportunity for imminent danger.
Skyway 6927, runway 27 left, taxi in position and hold, wind 150 at 7.
Position hold, 27 left, okay, with 6927.
Stop.
Don't worry, we got him. Pretty hold up. Flight Atlas not hold short because he didn't say anything like that. Oh, don't worry about it.
It may not be constructive to worry about it, but all of us, pilots and controllers, can learn a great deal from every operational error and pilot deviation.
Well, he isn't stopping.
Now more than ever, it's essential that flight crews and air traffic controllers come face to face and eye to eye on improving aviation safety. Ever-increasing traffic is being managed with rapidly advancing technology. But at the end of the day, our safety hinges on education.
These real-life events are usually a chain of errors. And that's something that's well known in the human factors world. It's not just one different thing or one isolated thing, it's a chain of events. And we try to show the pilots that errors can and will be made.
When you have those red flags, treat them as doubt, and doubt equals danger. So the first red flag is clearing you for a visual approach 10 miles out.
Amateurs train until they get it right. Professionals train until they don't get it wrong.
Nobody wants to do a bad job. No air traffic controller in this country consciously wants to make an error to bring two aircraft close to each other, that they hit each other and kill a lot of people. The poor air traffic controller in Tenerife, he didn't want to kill 583 people. See, then we need to look at the whole issue. What makes people to make this error or misjudgment?
We've heard from experts from all sides of our business. They seem to share a common thread: education. Never stop learning. On-the-job training is not enough. Subscribing to a new aviation publication, online research of one of the dozens of web-based aviation safety sites, signing up for a refresher course at one of the many accredited flight training institutions around the country, or a few hours with your favorite flight instructor. It is our hope that this is just the beginning of updating your skills and learning more about pilot and controller teamwork. Until then, blue skies and safe landings.